Well, what's the fucking purple Jedi's name? Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
He was always the coolest Jedi.
Because he has a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, like no one else has a purple white lightsaber. What's up with that?
Yeah, purple guy.
Also, Jedis, like they got nothing but red ones.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame, no?
Yeah.
Or is
actually,
there's got to be a lore reason.
General Grievous has like other colors.
But he's stealing them from other people he's killed.
Oh,
that's like his
that's
lore.
What that is?
Yeah.
What's the green one mean?
Green one means
because Yoda's got a green one, right?
Yeah, Yoda's got a green one.
But General Grievous is like 2 blue ones, 2 green ones.
2 green ones, yeah. I think. I don't know.
Because like to get a green one, you got to be at least Yoda, right?
Yoda level, yeah. I think so. What I know about the Star Wars lore, because I'm not a Star Wars guy, by the way, is that it's based off of the Kyber crystal that you manufacture during your Jedi training.
Kyber?
Kyber, yeah.
Okay.
Kyber.
Okay.
And depending on the type of crystal you have, it changes your light stick.
So Mace Windu is the only guy with the only is very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Damn.
I don't know. I have no idea. You'd have to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
He got the rare Labubu.
Yeah, he got the Pop 1 lightsaber. That's crazy. SEC lightsaber. Nobody else got that.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to X3 Drop. I'm Xell.
And I'm Ducky.
And today we've got a follow-up episode to our last episode where we ranked kind of where we thought the best leaders were from the Postban OP12 meta, which has had a bunch of big tournaments recently. I actually didn't realize how many tournaments there were this weekend.
5 events between offline regionals and online treasure cups.
Yeah, so ton of big tournaments, ton of data from basically every continent. So we got to see how Australia did their thing, Europe and US. We got just so much data this weekend, which again, I was not thinking of because I've been preparing for Toronto this weekend. So that's kind of where my head was at. So when I saw all these events, I was like, oh, good.
Yeah, nice data.
Nice data.
Yum yum.
Because I'm the data guy. I'm the anime character who's like, I've noticed that 96% of the time you use a left-hand swing over time.
Okay, so I'm not an anime guy. Like I've seen maybe a total of like 10 anime in its entirety. I think ever. Like maybe 10. Like 10 is most.
We can like figure this out later. You know? We'll count them up.
Yeah.
Does each season of Haikyuu mean a different?
That doesn't count.
Okay.
That doesn't count. But you're for those Prince of Tennis enjoyers, you're the Prince of Tennis guy that makes the vegetable juice concoctions. I forget to say Inui or something. It's like Inui.
I think Inui is right. Yeah.
He's got the glasses. He's just average at everything, but then he's just ultra smart and he basically cheats. He's just a cheater.
I think I relate to that character in a card game context. He's OP. Right? Because like it's not like you can be held back by your physical prowess, how fast you are, how your endurance is. All I have to do is read the meta and I'll know the percentages.
Inui turns out like post time skip, there's always like what happened to these players after they graduated, right? Inui's just a professional One Piece card gamer now.
He's won an uncut sheet, that's for sure.
Serial count.
Yeah, serial count, unbelievably high. But yeah, so I think what we want to do in this week's episode is kind of go over these tournaments and shout outs to Eggman and the other folk who are gathering all this data for us to take a look at today.
Yeah, big shout out to Eggman for letting us basically rip all the data. It was a quick yoink.
Yeah, and we're going to go over it and we're going to see like how did we do on our tier list, right?
Yeah, so last week's tier list.
But before that, want to shout out the Patreon. Hey, if you guys are enjoying our content, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/XellTCG. That's what it is, where we have bonus episodes every week.
We do have bonus episodes every week. We've been slacking a little bit on the One Piece theater, but that'll start up soon again, and then maybe some cool ideas for some cool short form content for the tier 3s.
Yeah, so I know you've been cooking on that.
I've been cooking
so.
in the lab. I got some good stuff for you guys.
Yeah,
it's really degen.
It's just been such a crazy kind of like time period in our lives. There's just like a lot going on.
There's so much.
But that said, appreciate the support, and yeah, let's get into what we've been doing every week. Comment of the week.
Comment of the week. I've got 2 this time because I couldn't pick one.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with Razmataz 5 days ago, who said he was Asian, referring to
the Captain Planet guy, right?
Yeah, referring to
no,
the boy from Magic Treehouse.
Magic Treehouse.
We were talking about what is it called? The
Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect, right? So I thought that this boy was Asian all along, and I just want to be transparent. I didn't think he was like Asian American. I didn't think he was like kind of Asian. I didn't think this was a Michael Kim. I thought that this was like a Wei Young Lee. Like this guy doesn't have a last name. He's got a surname. Bro is from the motherland. I thought he was Asian. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Let me know in the comments. I believe he didn't even speak English.
I know nothing about. I read the books.
I think
Magic Treehouse.
I think
books were lit.
I think he thought the Magic Treehouse was a Kumon. I'm pretty sure that's what he thought.
His parents keep sending him to the Magic Treehouse. Like, you gonna learn.
Yeah. So, Mandela effect, I don't know, debunked or not here. I'm not really sure.
I think if you guys are on the same wavelength and the kid was verifiably Asian, not really a Mandela. I think you guys just remembered it.
Yeah. Facts. I've got another one here from Hotaro2916, who said, "Fun pod this week. I could viscerally feel the Bonney panic set in for this episode." And boy, was he right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If we had heart rate monitors, BPM,
every time whenever we have to mention
the
Bonney.
B word, the B. Oh my. I was thinking back to an old episode and Xell's prediction that the uninteractivity of a lot of decks like Buggy would lead to a stale OP11 meta, and how true that was. My question is, what is the best, most dead-on prediction you've guys have made when it comes to a meta / card design decisions in OPTCG, and what is the worst? So, like, what are our best predictions and worst predictions?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not even sure. I think
I only have good predictions.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, our track record is good. Yeah.
I'm from the future.
I think our track record has been pretty good. I'm trying to remember if we've ever been like super far off. If so, I would love to know, because it'd be very funny, like, to just review that.
Definitely let us know if we've been omega far off. But I think Future Ducky has been right for the most part.
Yeah, because like
Gum Giant is safe. The Buggy Wars have happened.
That one meta was ass.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So
maybe like tier lists. Our tier lists have been pretty accurate for the most part.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I've also said this meta seems like it's going to be balanced between Zoro and Bonney. We'll talk about it.
Oh, we also did talk about how I think when OP12 was first leaked, we talked about how Koala seemed sick.
Oh, we've been really far off on that one.
We were
very far
bad.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that I've learned over time with looking at leaders is that leader abilities, like, they can be good, but man, without support, it means nothing.
It's still good. Like, Koala leader ability is still good. I look at it and I'm like, damn, that is a good leader.
Yeah.
Not
it's just
enough.
it's just the Rev army cards that just aren't to
especially the black ones.
Yeah, they just don't live up to Koala's potential, I think.
That deck is Nico Robin the deck.
Yeah.
Ditch one, your opponent ditches two. It's like it's fine. Not amazing.
Yeah.
It's a blocker. It's big.
Meanwhile, Zoro is just going absolute
11
insanity at your board, and life. So, also, I think 4 life leaders are just like,
it's a tough time for 4 life leaders. There was a time and a place for 4 life leaders, right?
And that place is far gone now. I don't know if we'll ever go back to it, to be honest. Like, 4 life leaders had to be so strong.
Is this a prediction? Is this a future Xell prediction? I don't think we'll ever get back to 4 life leader meta.
I don't think that's necessarily the case because every time now that they print a like lower life leader, their effects are strong. So
like GP and UP.
Yeah, GP UP, but also like the new VV leader that came out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that card is awesome.
That card seems very good. So I don't really know where things will land with 4 life leaders, but I think the designers are starting to feel out like what's like reasonable for a 4 life leader. Because like if it's a 4 life leader, but it's just because they have 2 colors rather than like thinking about how strong their leader ability is,
it's like not good enough.
It's just not good enough.
Yeah.
Like 4 life is actually so hard to deal with.
Because if you think back to BDIFs, the only 4 life leaders I can think of are Red Green Law, which is very powerful. At the time.
Yeah, at the time
like,
when removal
Lucci,
didn't exist.
Yeah, when there was like no removal at all. Like Lucci,
chump blockers were insane back then. Sakazuki.
Saka, and then RP Law.
RP Law, yeah. Which were both decks that had just insane tempo swings where I remove your thing and swing big at you. So.
I guess you can count UP meta, maybe.
Yeah.
And then GP and EBO2.
Yeah, but I think all those come with like a little bit of caveats because they're not just 4 life leaders. They were like backed by insanely strong like defensive tools, right?
Yeah, so GP, UP were backed by insanely efficient defensive tools. And then Saka
backed
was...
by Rebecca, Rebecca, yeah.
It was just an insane deck at the time.
Yeah.
And then RP Law just was crazy. Like, if you just read the leader effect... whose idea was this? That is crazy.
I mean, at the time, it looked normal. You were like,
no,
oh, yeah,
no, it did not.
I think
normal.
so. At the time, it was like there's not that many things I can minus, and you're -3 Dawn, so you're like the ramp wasn't quite there. But man, when they started printing like better just generic purple support, and then red started to get more cards, like
I think I've told the story before, but I played kind of a casual game with Jansuko on RP Law. I forget what deck I was playing, like Moria or something.
Yeah, I think this was like OPO6. So like
this is before RP Law.
Well before OPO8's like RP Law fucking
this
heyday.
Is before RP Law, like RP Law was just released and before he had any sort of support. It was just the cards that were out at the time. And I played him and he smoked me. I was like, man, this leader is very dangerous. Like, if they print any more for support for this leader, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's an absolute problem. Oh my God, that was a problem.
They've printed a lot more support for that deck.
My God.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so long story short, Hotaru, yeah, we're never wrong.
We're just geniuses.
Yeah, we're never wrong.
We're electric.
The crystal ball.
Our crystal balls they're so good.
Oh, my balls are good.
But yeah, anyways, that's comment of the week. Thank you, Hotaru, for your comment. So yeah, let's get into it. Which regional should we talk about, or which event?
I'm just going to go in order. We're going to start here with TAC Games Aukland Regionals. So our friends from down under,
with the ruse.
Yeah.
Koalas.
Nor.
Every Australian watching this is just
like rolling their eyes. Yeah. This is a 315 player event, which is kind of what we expect from an Oceania event. Historically, they've been pretty small, like sub 500, which is what we would consider small over here in the West.
Yeah, I think generally for Western EU, anything that even 500 is considered kind of on the small side. If I'm being honest,
definitely.
Like 500 is a small event. 1,000, now we're getting to the juicy bits. So
yeah,
and just to talk generally for a little bit here, there were a couple events that were a little bit on the smaller side.
Definitely.
So this was one of them.
Yeah. So this happened the weekend of August 30th to the 31st. It had 8 rounds of Swiss, BO1 into a top 16 top cut, BO3. And we've got a little leader breakdown here. Top 16 leader breakdown for the top cut. We've got 4 Green Zoro, 2 Jewelry Bonney, 2 GP Luffy, 2 Blue Kuzan, 1 Green Yellow Yamato. We've got 1 UP Sanji, 1 Rob Lucci, 1 OP11 Derek. Which one is... Oh, this is
the
UP.
Snake Man, yeah.
UP. We've got 1 Shanks and then 1 UY Nami.
Yeah, so quite the gamut, and I think one of the biggest surprises is that the green yellow Yamato actually ended up getting second through all of this.
Yeah, the green yellow Yamato, I took a look at the deck list, and there's nothing really too crazy. It's like what you would expect out of a green yellow Yamato deck list, right? Just really well built and well played by Joshua Alcock.
Alcock, okay, yeah.
Alcock.
don't laugh.
That I didn't laugh. You laugh. I didn't laugh. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Speaking of names that that beget, what is it called? Occupations.
Oh, okay. they're a badminton player. Okay, they get the shuttlecock never touches the floor. Okay.
Oh, yeah. it's their walkout is like My Hero Academia opening. They're not All Might. They're All Cock. Oh, that's so godlike. Wait, I think badminton is popular in Australia.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Probably.
beast.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is beast.
But yeah, I think this one is kind of interesting. I think I expected it to be a very diverse meta, but I think some of the decks that made it through to the top 16 were surprising to me. So green yellow Yamato being one of them. Also blue purple Sanji is another one that I was very surprised about. I know like a lot of people are interested in playing him. He's just a popular character and all that, but he has a deathly bad matchup into Zoro, I believe. So
yeah, so blue purple Sanji was a deck that I thought was pretty good, right? Like in my mind, kind of like Kuzan. It's like a pretty good deck. You have cards that are uninteractable. You take a ton of actions. And I think there's a lot of skill expression in the deck, right? So great Sanji players will always outperform mediocre or average Sanji players, just like Kuzan. But we've always thought that Kuzan was just slightly more powerful. The quality of the cards in Kuzan is quite a bit higher than those in Sanji. And those in Sanji, you're kind of forced to play events that you don't really want to play just so you have a game plan. Like your game plan is able to be executed.
Yeah, because if I haven't played blue purple Sanji, but I assume the major game plan is to use those 3/5 Sanjis that get big as you get a bunch of events.
Oh my god, they get huge.
Yeah, so
and you cannot interact with them.
You can't interact with them, and then Sanji's just kind of like Nami, just milling the deck and just putting tons and tons of events in, and then you just charge in with the Sanjis. I think the problem against Zoro is that before they get particularly large, Zoro just comes in, rests them, swings enormous at them. They're like your main game plan to winning, and now you're having to defend with all these events as well. So it's just kind of puts you in a really awkward spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was interesting that blue purple made it, and yeah, this is kind of what I expected, just jungle meta.
Yeah, I was too. What I was a little bit surprised is that there were 2 Kuzans in top 8. I maybe expected 0 to 1 Kuzans. I expected them to be in top 16 for sure.
I was saying it. We'll talk
about it a little later.
We'll talk about the general stuff later.
Yeah, because but this was the very first event, the first weekend, August 30th to 31st. So 2 Kuzans. I was a little surprised, but my kind of prediction here is that the earlier we are into a meta, the more effective Kuzan is going to be.
Interesting.
I think the later we're going to get into like maybe going into Nats or towards the end of OP12, I think Kuzan gets worse and worse. Not that the deck gets worse, but it's positioned a little bit more poorly compared to the other higher value decks.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think Kuzan at the end of the day feels just like a very fair deck. You're like doing a lot of like drawing and discarding and stuff, but in the end, your payoff is like I play an 8-drop that plays a 7-drop, and then. Yep. Which is good.
It's good. And the card quality is good. Like Sakazuki is great.
Yeah. Ooh, draw 2. That's good.
Is good. It freezes something.
Yeah. But it's
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. It's not like it's not insane.
Yeah.
The way like I feel like Zoro can be insane. So
yeah. Or like Rayleigh or UP or GP. Like those decks sometimes just feel unbeatable.
Yeah. With Kuzan, I feel like this is just not quite their like power level wise.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see 2 of them in top 8 and happy to see them do well. But if I were to take out the crystal ball, the magic 8 ball here, and I shake the magic 8 ball, outcome not so good.
Dude, I'm still low key a
You're
Kuzan
believer?
I think so, and
I think that deck is too fair.
It is. but that's also kind of one of its strengths, especially in the current meta. So we'll talk more generally later because we're going to review kind of our tier list at the end and then talk about it. So let's just move on to the next event. Let's just get our initial reactions out of the way because there's a bunch of events. So next one we'll talk about is the Carta Magica online Treasure Cup. I was actually in this one, but I had to leave for my flight, so I wasn't able to actually play it out.
How many rounds did you play? Any rounds?
No, I was like, dude, my flight is gonna be after like this, right after the third round. I was like,
you just hop in the Discord and be like, you got it, you got it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna do this.
And people are gonna be like, "Wow, I got Zelda uncut sheet winner." He's gonna be the back-to-back. You hop in the Discord. Yeah, you got it, man.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, yeah. It would have been tragic if imagine if I ended up going 3-0 or something, and then I'd want to play it out, and then my girlfriend would never forgive me for the rest of her life. So yeah. I just didn't want to poke the bear, Yep. Not that I would go 3-0. So anyways, this one 512 players, 9 rounds of just Swiss, no top cut. And this one we actually have data for the entire player base, which is I think something very interesting.
And this happened the exact same weekend as the Aukland offline region.
Yes.
So they took place at the same time.
So we've got at the top we got OP12 Zoro at 67 players. Next most popular 65 Bonney players, so basically the same as Zoro. 51 Rayleigh players, 49 Shanks, 45 green purple Luffy, 34 UP Luffy, 28 Teaches, 24 Kuzans, 19 Rob Lucci's, 14 Enels, 11 Captain Kids, 11 OP05 Sanji. That's probably not right. That's probably supposed to be OP.
UP Sanji.
Yeah, this is the OP12 Sanji.
Yeah.
And then OP05 Purple Luffy, and then 83 others. And 83 others is quite a lot when you consider that it's 500 people. So just the whole gamut.
Yeah, 83 other is like very little when it comes to like deck representation because about 70 of the players just brought Zoro, green Zoro.
Yeah,
so like about the same number of people played Zoro and any other leader.
I just mean how wide it is. Like there's going to be like in that 83 is going to be like 2 of this, 1 of that, 2 of this. But like you could get anything basically is what this is telling us. And then for the top 16 though, so the people who got to the very end, we've got 4 Zoros, 4 Teaches, 3 Rayleighs, 2 GP Luffy's, 2 Bonnies, and 1 UP Luffy. So if we compare the data, of course, Zoro was the most represented deck. So there being 4 Zoros at the end, like kind of makes sense, just like from a numbers level. But then we have 4 Teaches, which I think is very significant, considering that Teach was what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 7th most popular deck, but has the highest representation in top 16.
Yeah. So I imagine the conversion rate is awesome.
Is insane, right? Rayleigh, also very respectable. 3 out of the 51 players made it. EBO2, not as good. 2 made it to top 16 out of 45. So that's like what, roughly 1 in 20-ish.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Bonney, though, quite bad, I would say. Only 2 Bonnies made it to top 16, and it was the second most represented deck. So I think that is kind of like an underperformance for Bonney.
Sure.
And then finally, we have 1 UP, and I would say UP, how many were there in this one? There was 34, so also not the best numbers for UP. So
that's so funny saying that Bonney, this was a poor performance for Bonney. Like it underperformed this event because 1 out of 8 players in the top 16 is playing Bonney.
Yeah.
And we expected Bonney to kind of dominate. I think our initial thoughts going into these tournaments this particular weekend is that Green Zoro, highly represented and going to do really well. Bonney, highly represented, going to do very well. Rayleigh, highly represented, going to do very well. And then GP Luffy as well, right? Like these were the 4 decks that we thought were going to be the most represented and do the best.
Yeah, so I think my surprise, obviously, is Teach's performance.
Me too.
I knew going in Teach was going to be strong. I just didn't think people would adopt it so quickly.
I'm exactly with you here. Like I think these guys are a little ahead of the curve. I don't want to call it like premature when it comes to adapting to the meta necessarily, but maybe just a really, really accurate meta read. Because we had predicted that as we're going to see more green dominate the charts, Teach would become more and more increasingly popular.
Yeah, because I think
along with Shanks.
The other thing with Blackbeard is that I always knew that, people always said Zoro is such a bad matchup. And then having played it a couple times, it's not good. You're not in the driver's seat a lot, but like you can win a lot of those games. And I think even the sim data is showing that it's like kind of getting closer to 50-50. Like it was like really bad at first, and now it's just like drifting closer and closer. So if you're dominant into Bonney and you do pretty decent into Zoro, that means that you're in a pretty good spot meta-wise, in my opinion. So yeah, I think kind of surprising just in how quickly people were to get on Teach and do that. So
just moving on to the top 8 breakdown for this event. We have Green Zoro in first, Red Rayleigh in second. In third, we've got GP Luffy, Green Zoro in fourth, Teach in fifth, Bonney in sixth, Teach in seventh, and then Bonney in eighth. So the conversion rate for Bonney this event into top 16 was not that good, but the 2 Bonnies that made it into top 16 both made it into top 8.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Joy Boy and Tyler T for just having a great run here. Bonney, like this is kind of what we expected, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the top 8 decks were green.
Yeah, green meta.
And then we've got Rayleigh at second, which we thought was going to be really powerful. But then we've got 2 Teaches, which we thought were good decks, but just a little ahead of its time. But these guys seem to have just a really good read on the meta at the time. Could have had a great bracket run and just took it to top 8 here. So congratulations to you guys.
And then next up, we have Zent's Purple Luffy. I actually played against this guy in a prior Treasure Cup. He is like a Challenger League player, which I thought was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I think Purple Luffy, kind of like you, kind of his near and dear deck. So brought it again this time around with a pretty crazy list.
Yeah, I wanted to give a special shout out to Zent. He finished 22nd, so congratulations to you. Top 32. Nothing to sneeze at, honestly, especially with a deck that most people would consider not very well positioned in the current meta with so much green. Everything is... He's playing the standard stuff here, like the Uso Hachis, the Onamis, the Bon Clays, the Double Fingers as a 2K, 4 of Rush Sanji. But he has since chosen to bring back the Charlotte Linlin along with the Katakuri. So we've got the Big Mom package here. In addition to the Don Quixote package in a 1 of Don Quixote Doflamingo and 4 of Don Quixote Rosinante, which I thought actually was a really smart choice if you were to expect a green meta. If this is a green meta, you want Rosinantes in order to be able to play big guys and still have enough Dawn to protect yourself. So speaking of like going along with the green trend here, we've got Judgment of Hell and Slow Beam Sword as the tech for green cards. If you're not careful about how you swing, Slow Beam is absolutely going to dominate you. And then Judgment of Hell is just so sick into Green Zoro. Shrink leader by 3. So effectively that is 6k in shrink power for just, I guess 9k, right? You shrink 3 things by 2. So you shrink the leader by 3. That's -6 over the course of 2 swings.
Yeah.
And then you shrink another thing by 3. So good.
Yeah. And it also isn't just for Zoro, right? Like it's good against Rayleigh because you get to take 2 of the attackers, make them a lot weaker. And then also against GP, you're less scared of the double swinging
for sure.
Secret Luffy.
Definitely.
So I think Judgment of Hell is just a really well-positioned card right now.
Right now against the green meta where things love to swing twice, Judgment of Hell is awesome.
Yeah,
what I thought was super cool here was also Lead Performer Disaster as a 4 of.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Purple Luffy is a deck that doesn't necessarily rely on triggers because you're taking your own life quite often here. So you have 5 life, but you have really only maybe 2 or 1 life that you're actually taking through a swing where Lead Performer Disaster is relevant. But it is a 4-drop card that will ramp you 1
this is a go second purple Luffy list essentially. Like it wants to take second. I think that makes sense with the way the meta is right now. A lot of decks want second, and then by having basically another 4 copies of Bon Clay, you just get to your top end ASAP.
Yeah. The only scary thing here is that Lead Performer Disaster is a brick, which is very scary. But with 4 copies of Rosinante, sometimes you just don't care. And this guy is effective. He's playing 4 Giants and then 1 Blast Spread. So you got 5 copies of stuff that is really, really tanky for you. So I really like this list. And you're playing 4 copies of Onami to help filter bricks as well. So I thought this list was super interesting. It'll catch a lot of people off guard. And congratulations again to Zent.
Yeah, I have his matchups as well. So he played against Purple Luffy, Bonney, lost to Teach, won against Kuzan, Blue Purple Sanji, lost to Bonney, one against Red Green Smoker, Green Zoro, and then Blue Purple at the end. So a couple, kind of avoided too many Bonnies, which I think is good, but also beat plenty of green decks here. So
and he saw a Teach, which I think this particular deck list is very bad into.
Yeah,
it's particularly bad into Teach.
So, yeah. Anyways, congratulations to Zent. Awesome job there. So, moving on, we've got the Bologna.
Is that how you pronounce it?
No, there's no way.
It's Italian, right?
Yeah.
Bologna. Bologna.
I don't know.
I have
it's
no
gotta
idea.
Be. Okay, I trust you.
Wait, this is French.
Yeah, that was French. Oh,
but
no. This is Italian. You do this. This is the Bedvici,
Bologna.
Dude, now we've got the Australians hating us. Now we've got the Italians hating us.
I've got my racist boots on.
Yeah. So anyways, this one was over 2 days. This one is the big event of the weekend.
1024, baby.
Yeah, 1,010 rounds of Swiss, and I believe there was top cut as well.
Oh, there was a top cut for this one?
I believe so.
Okay.
So we have the top 32 leaders. We have 5 Rayleigh, 5 Zoro, 4 Bonney, 3 Teach, 3 Shanks, 2 UP Luffy, 2 Blue Kuzan, 2 GP Luffy, 1 Vegapunk, 1 Kalgara.
Yeah.
1 Smoker, red green, of course, and then a Lucci and a blue yellow Nami. So again, very, very wide, but centralized around the decks that I think we knew it would be centralized around.
Yeah, and we see a little resurgence of Teach here again. The Marshall D Teach Discord probably going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that this many people were bringing Teach and are doing so well this early, because I thought that Teach would have only been adopted probably going into Toronto and Florida weekend. So next weekend, I expect to see a lot more Teach and a lot more Shanks than we did in the August 30th events. But happy to see Shanks and Teach being adopted this early. Yeah, I mean, let's move on to the top 8 breakdown here.
Yeah, and this is after the top cut. And so the person who took it all, Silver's Rayleigh.
Yeah.
Got all the way to the end, beating out Vegapunk in the finals.
Yeah, very surprising.
This was not on my radar at all.
Nope.
I did take a look at their matchups a little bit. There was a video that was posted. They didn't have like a clear breakdown, so not exactly sure. But I think one of the main reasons why Vegapunk's kind of in a tough spot is because of Zoro, but I think he was able to dodge a lot of Zoros. I think he only played against 1.
That's so impressive because Zoro is a big piece of this pie chart.
Yeah, and he was also able to play more against Rayleighs, and I think this deck does quite well into Rayleigh.
Yeah.
And then I think he said he played against a lot of Blackbeards, and I think right now it is in a good spot to beat Blackbeards, because back when I was playing Blackbeard and I was sort of like killing Vegapunk players.
Well, back then Vegapunk was touted to do well into Blackbeard. Yeah, back then, but so you didn't lose.
I kind of had the like build that made sense against like a Vegapunk at the time, so I played like very little Van Augur Doc Q, and I played mostly Liberation, and I was just trying to turbo out Burgesses.
Yeah.
And I think that build much more difficult for Vegapunk to deal with, because I'm just able to pick off his board constantly. But in the more recent Blackbeard builds, you're playing more towards Van Augur and stuff like that.
Definitely.
And that's where I
Seven
think
Beards.
Yeah, like Vegapunk doesn't care about those cards nearly as much. Like he can interact with them. Nami gets a lot of value against them, and you can kind of play this resource game that like Vegapunk sort of kind of wins in.
He just goes super wide, man.
Yeah, he's just very fast, very wide, and has a lot of resources for something like Blackbeard. And again, a lot of Blackbeards are cutting things like This Is My Era down to like 3, just like less of the turbo Burgess build type dealio. So I think it makes a lot of sense why Vegapunk could do well if you can dodge Zoro and maybe Bonney. I don't know. So that's the other thing.
The green matchups are probably pretty tough for you as Vegapunk. So very surprising to see him do this well into that weekend. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
But I would say this top 8. Well, I guess to round it out, we've got in the top 4 spots Teach and Bonney, and the top 8 spots Kalgara, Lucci, Green Zoro, Red Rayleigh. So
Kalgara all the way into 5th place here, basically.
And I believe it was the only Kalgara in top 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one Kalgara in top 32 made it into top 8 here. Congratulations to him. This is the most wild top 8 that I think we've seen in the 5 events thus far. Vegapunk, Kalgara, and Lucci being kind of the rogue picks here. That I didn't think would make it into a top 32, much less top 8.
And only one Zoro made it into top 8. So very interesting. Obviously, top cut changes a lot, right? Because, depending on how your matchups go, you can get much more like skewed results here.
Yeah.
But it is just kind of cool to see how many different decks are represented, right? Just from like a deck, like, I don't know, viability angle. There's just so many decks right now that can compete at the highest level.
Yeah, it's definitely the Wild Wild West out here. And speaking of how wild things are, let's get a little primitive with this Kalgara list. I think this Kalgara list, for the most part, is pretty standard. But what I think is different here is that Kalgara has a new tool to find Mont Blanc Noland, right? Right? He does not play that.
He doesn't play
it at all. He doesn't care about botanist, Jaya botanist. He doesn't care about that. He just goes slam Kuma.
Yeah, this is an interesting list because it also runs the yellow Red Hawk, which kills an original cost 5, very good against GP and stuff. And then a bunch of saves. So it's like taking life very aggressively and then removing things on board while you use Kalgara's ability to just like be pressuring the board like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so he was saying that this list is it's kind of interesting because now you have more healers than just Noland. You also have Kuma as well to be another healer. So he was saying that a lot of your games, like you get pushed down to 0 life very quickly, but then you just heal once. And usually that one is enough for you to feel kind of safe. And so like he was saying he played against a decent amount of Rayleighs. I don't know if it was like more than 2, but Rayleighs, you always never want to be at 0. And so he's constantly just fighting for resources on the board and like using his life as a resource, kind of like Pluffy, really. And but then just heals that one crucial life in order to just stay alive with the defensive events that you have with like Elthor and Red Hawk and stuff. So this is a deck that I'm kind of excited about to exist in the meta. I don't know how good it is necessarily into the meta. I don't know what its matchup spread looks like, but just really cool that this deck is doing so well.
Yeah, I just love any deck that has vanillas. Like, this is awesome.
Just 6/8 guy.
Dude, not only are you playing 6/8 guy, you're playing 6/7 vanilla 2K. You're playing Holly 3/5. My God,
you got that dog.
You got that dog in you. So my heart is with you, Kalgara players. I think this deck is super cool, and congratulations on making top 8.
Yeah, I want to test this deck. This deck looks
sweet. It looks sick.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Play LATAM's Chile Offline Regionals that happened the exact same weekend, August 30th. This one's got 512 players with 9 rounds of Swiss BO1 here. And I've got a top 8 leader breakdown with 2 EBO2 Luffy, GP, 1 Enel, 1 Saka, 1 Green Zoro, 1 Rayleigh, 1 Shanks, and 1 Bonney. So this one has got just a sprinkle of everything good. The interesting thing about this particular offline regional was that Enel was the deck to win it all.
Which is absolutely insane.
I expected Enel's to be at regionals, like represented at regionals with an awful conversion rate. None of them would make top 32. This is a for fun deck.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been echoing the sentiment that like Enel, despite having support in EBO1 and whatever, like the deck just isn't that good.
No.
And I think a lot of the sort of tricks that were up Enel's sleeve have been found out, So to see it get this far, I think is pretty insane, especially because like in the top 8, we have decks that do really well against Enel, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Bonney, we have Shanks, we have UP Luffy, we have, I think GP is also pretty decent.
GP Enel is free.
Yeah.
Like that matchup is free. Enel goes, oh, I'm going to starve you forever. I'm tucking your stuff. Rush Luffy, take my own life. 7 leads, 7 leads, 7 leads, 7 leads.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to explode.
So I think like that said, like Enel just dodged or just outplayed these people. I have no idea, but I think one of the biggest differences in this tournament compared to the other ones that we've talked about is the distinct lack of teach.
Yes,
and that
totally.
is really what allowed this finals to happen, because the finals was against Enel versus Sakazuki.
Yeah, which is OP05, kind of
hanging in there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the old heads are back,
Yeah,
baby.
the old heads. Yeah,
Well, you would see this finals match on stream, and you wouldn't be able to tell what set this was from. Like you'd be like, "What? Is this OP05? Like what is this? No, this is OP12."
Yeah,
post ban.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, this was quite literally our finals for who went to Worlds. I think that year in OP05.
This was Nat's finals.
It was Jonas versus Jackson.
Yeah,
in the
Enel
finals.
versus Saka.
So we see that redux.
And Enel won again.
And Enel won again, yeah. So very interesting. I think these are two decks that I distinctly did not think would get there. So.
Neither did I. But I think a reason why this particular Enel did really well is because of the deck list. So I want to give kind of a deep dive and shout out to, what's this gentleman's name? Javier Perez. Javier's Enel deck list. It is very aggressive. This is a super, super aggressive Enel deck list that does not starve you.
This is actually quite different, because I've been seeing a lot of the deck lists that are running like the Ultramarine event card and like the Kuzans and stuff like that. Just like, I'm going to give you 8 life, 10 life, 12 life.
Yeah, you're playing like the Enels, you're playing Yamatos, like you're playing these high value cards that heal you and remove something at the same time while starving your opponent. However, Javier had different plans. Basil Hawkins, I'm going to kill you fast. You're playing Nami's and the 5-drop Pop Luffy that focus on removing the board. You're playing Nico Robin, a card that also takes your life here. You're playing Sabo to prevent people from starving you. You're playing a Rush Enel, and you're playing 3 copies of 8-drop Eustace Captain Kidd, which is also a very, very violent card. Insanely violent card.
Just lasers.
Yeah, and you play a ton of bricks in this deck, so it helps you filter your Omega tanky. You've got Kikus that are coming out of life. Not only that, you've got Blaze Slice.
I love this card.
Yeah, so this is a card that'll help you just finish off people. It just really makes sense in this particular deck list because of how aggressive it is. You're playing so many bodies that just trash your life, have rush, trash your life, have rush, trash your life. I'm healing at the same time. And then you've got Arc Maxim, right? Like this is a cool one-of card that will just help you remove the really, really wide Rayleigh bodies. Your buggies, your searchers, your Boa Hancock, stuff like that. All that stuff. Yeah. Like that stuff just explodes, So Arc Maxim, really cool one-of card, tech card for Rayleigh. But I think this caught a lot of people off guard. I wouldn't be surprised if this particular top cut was closed deck list.
Yeah, actually, was there even a top cut for this one?
There may if it wasn't a top cut and Javier knew that going in, like this was very, very intelligent.
This is one of those situations. We talk about this in another episode, talking about like preparations for regionals. You need to know if it's top cut or not top cut, because like this is a deck list. if you don't get the deck list, you are just not playing around any of this.
None
at
of
all.
these cards at all. Like the second you see like you're taking life willy nilly, and then you see a 7-drop Enel followed with Kid, followed with 10-drop Enel. If you played the first 3 turns wrong, you are so behind.
You are so you're you're gonna be in a world of hurt. It's so funny because sometimes, like as a player who plays against Enel and they swing at you on their 3-Dawn turn, and you're like, I can play my 4-drop.
Yeah,
you know?
I can play a 4-drop, and then something huge just comes out, and you're like, Nico Robin, what the?
Yeah, the other thing I really love about this list too is just how much like protection. It's not even protection, but all these cards have a lot of devastating effects if you KO them in battle.
Yep.
Like Basil Hawkins. Oh, I'm gonna take one of your lives.
Yep.
Kiku, I get a life.
Kuma, I heal a life.
I heal a life. Enel, you can't kill him.
Yep.
Like so his bodies are really sticky and annoying to deal with.
Yep.
You really don't want to deal with them. And I think alongside that surprise factor, I really did not see a deck list like this coming for Enel, but this is awesome.
Yeah, I think Javier did a super sweet job calling out the meta and calling out how people view the standard Enel list, just bringing something so different than was conventionally thought Enel players were bringing, right? So it's kind of like building a purple Luffy list that was the go second version.
Yeah.
Like that is just a great call when people don't know what your deck list is. If you're only playing 10 rounds of Swiss, I highly recommend you do stuff like that.
Yeah, I love this. I think this is awesome. Congratulations. That is so sweet.
Yeah.
that is such a sweet list.
Like, I'm happy to see NL win here because, like, you know, this guy just outsmarted everyone.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of LATAM, we've got more events.
Yeah,
My God.
Play LATAM had 2 events in the same weekend. One offline, one online.
Yeah, insane. So this one is the Chile Treasure Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This one considerably smaller, 256 players.
Very small.
So only 8 rounds. And then we have the top 8 breakdown. So again, because of how small the event is, it's going to skew things. But 2 Rayleighs, 2 UP Luffys, 1 Bonney, 1 Zoro, 1 Teach, 1 Enel. Another Enel.
Another Enel in top 8
I'm
here.
curious if it's the same Enel. Is it?
It's not.
Okay. I'd also be curious if their list by Chris Pena was the same or not.
I tried to find his list. It was unavailable.
So yeah, I think like I would love to know if they also kind of made that same sort of call of like, I'm going to bring a deck that people are just going to be improperly prepared for.
For sure. And the earlier and newer a meta is in its baby phase, the more people will be caught off by this type of deck list.
Yes, absolutely. But of course, now that the rabbit's out of the bag, what is the idiom? Cat's out of the bag, right? That's the
Why?
Isn't that what people say? Like when
people why do they
cat's
say
out
that?
of the hat, or
But why is it out of a bag?
because you're a magician and
You pull a cat?
Yeah,
You pull rabbits out of a hat.
rabbit out of a hat. I think that's
When has a magician ever pulled a cat out of any bag? You know
I'm
what
sure.
I mean?
I'm sure Houdini's done it.
Let us
Cat
know.
out of the bag.
There's no way.
Actually, again,
Do you
it might
know?
be the double skateboards thing. It might be Mandela effect all over again.
Yeah.
But I feel like I distinctly remember there's a story about like I think it's like pet adoption or something, and they
Okay.
have like a pet inside a bag, but like to not disappoint, it's like I forgot exactly, but there's like some story about how they put a cat in a bag to like surprise a kid, and that way when the cat's revealed, it's like not a disappointment. I forgot the exact story, but I think it's somewhere along those lines.
That's
Comments,
so interesting.
get
Yeah,
me
let
on
us
this
know
one.
why. What is the etymology of cats out of the bag?
I swear it's something like that, though.
Because
it's not a magician thing. I'm actually wrong on that.
I was going to say, I've never seen Shin Lim pull a cat out of any bag.
That's true. That's fair. I have never seen it on Mind Freak either. So
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that is all the big events that have occurred this weekend. And I think, like, you know, I think generally speaking, I felt like we were on it. So
We're definitely on. Like, the top 4 decks, I think, just in top 8, top 16 representation that were most represented were Bonney, in no order. Bonney, Rayleigh, Green Zoro, GP Luffy.
To be honest, I'm looking back. GP Luffy is not super well represented.
Is it not?
Yeah, like in terms of sheer numbers wise.
Compared to Teach, maybe?
Yeah, I think Teach is actually maybe... So I think Teach and GP maybe should be switched.
It's possible, but every single top 8, there was one GP. Aside from one event. Oh, I guess 2 events. Yeah, so maybe GP and Teach are swapped here. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see Teach adopted this quickly. But we did think that the meta would evolve if this much green representation was around. This meta would evolve into a Bonney, Shanks, Teach meta again.
Yeah. Now, okay, so this is the thing. I actually am starting to think that Shanks just isn't ever going to come back. That's my initial take now. I think Zoro just seems like he's never leaving the meta.
I think so too.
It just doesn't seem like any deck can really fully push that guy out without being weak to something else, right? It just feels like he's kind of a central point, kind of like how UP was for us in the last format. I think Zoro is very clearly like a pillar. And that's why Rayleigh, I think, has been doing so well, because you have a positive matchup into Zoro. And I think that's like so big. And when you look at some of the other decks that have been in Top Cut, like I don't think like GP Luffy doesn't win against Zoro. Bonney, very close matchup, doesn't outright beat Zoro. Like there's not that many decks that we see here that outright beat Zoro. Like who I used as Captain Kid on our tier list, like in the Can Top section.
Yeah, we didn't see a single one.
Like Eustace Kid is the only one that I see that I know of that actually like really beats Zoro.
I think Shanks.
No, Zoro beats Shanks.
Really?
Yeah.
Zoro beats Shanks?
Yeah, it's generally a losing matchup for Shanks.
Really?
Zoro just you just outvalue what Shanks does. Shanks always wants to protect his life. What, you're not going to protect your board as he just eviscerates your board and then goes after your face again? Like,
I think the 4/6 Shanks is just so good into Zoro, though, right?
You're not guaranteed to see a 4/6 Shanks.
Yeah, but if you see it, like, I think you're favored in that matchup.
And then also there's this like other tech card that Zoro brings, like Gyukimaru, which I think is so sick. That's also really great into the match. I don't know, man. I agree. I think that 4-cost Shanks is very, very good, but like that's like your big out.
That's basically it. Yeah, that's your one.
And your general game plan loses to Zoro. So
I see.
I think, you're just none of these decks like really beat the hell out of Zoro, and I think that just shows you how strong Zoro is and why Rayleigh exists as a meta threat. I think the other decks, the thing that I was surprised about is that Bonney was not as dominant as I initially expected. Like Bonney came out in big numbers, but was like always just like tied with the number one deck, but was never just outright the number one deck. Like to me, like Zoro has outperformed Bonney, not by a lot, but I think Bonney's numbers in like the top cuts and stuff was smaller than I initially expected.
You think so?
I really thought Bonney was going to be the number one deck.
I think Bonney is the number one deck. Just by looking at the events here, Bonney did not miss a single top 8, and Bonney won
in numbers,
and won 2 events.
Yeah, but in sheer numbers, like Zoro is just for sure way more populated in the top cuts.
How many? Count the Zoros. I'll count the Bonnies.
15 Zoros. That's a lot of Zoros, man.
Yeah, there's 10 Bonnies, I think.
Yeah, so like
10 Bonney in top cut.
I think just
so
Zoro.
Maybe, yeah, you might be right.
Zoro just sort of outperformed Bonney, and I wasn't expecting that.
Neither was I.
I thought they would be more even, but so far it's shown that like I just think Zoro is top dog. Like
it does seem that way.
If we want to like now, if we take our because our original tier list wasn't ordered or anything, if I was to order it right now, I would move Zoro to number 1 spot. I think.
Okay, you would move Zoro to number 1. I would still put Bonney at number 1 for me personally. I think Bonney is still the better deck. I think it's shown up in every single top 8. I think Zoro also showed up in every top 8. But Bonney won 2 events. I think Bonnie's conversion rate is maybe not as good as Zoro's, but I think that's within margin of error, right? Like there's 15 Zoros in 5 events top cuts. There were 10 Bonnies in 5 event top cuts. I think that's pretty close. It's pretty close. I think Bonney... is quite good. They might be tied. It's close.
I would
say those are the 1 and 2 spot for me. I think.
Okay. Maybe we make 2 separate lists and then we let the comments fight it out. Because I think to me Zoro just feels like undoubtedly at the moment just the number 1 meta threat.
Sure.
Like I think this is the guy you should be teching for. If you're playing Zoro right now, you should be teching for the mirror.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of that like 4-6 Zoro or Rashomon, that sort of thing.
Rashomon's good.
Yeah, that's where I feel. I think number 2 would be Bonney still.
Yeah.
I think Bonney is just so generically good.
Yep.
Like I think maybe the only reason why Bonney hasn't shown up in force like Zoro is that I think Bonney is actually a very difficult deck to pilot, and there's a lot of like micro situational things. Like It's funny because I think when you compare it to Shanks, because I think a lot of people call Bonney green Shanks, I think it's not quite that, because I think Bonney does have to decide on the game plan that they want to enact before they get to the late game stuff.
Yeah, the macro gameplay is quite a bit more complicated when it comes to Bonney. The cards kind of do play themselves, but you do have to understand the flow of the game and what kind of resources you're looking for and what you need.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that makes Bonney like a little bit less good than Zoro is just maybe raw consistency.
Could be.
Like Bonney, I've seen deck lists just cut out basically all of the searchers. I've seen lists go as low as 3 Bonney searchers, and that's the only searchers. Everything else you're just raw dogging it. Yeah.
The 5/6 SEC Bonney is draw 2, trash 1.
Draw 2, trash 1. The beige also draw trash.
It's not a searcher, but it does allow you to see cards.
But the Bonney one is situational. You can't just play it on 5 and get the cards.
Yep.
So, again, I think it's just the deck list is a little conditional and kind of requires some things to go well for you. Like you still can lose to bad draws. And then for the 3rd spot now, I think it's Rayleigh.
I think it's Rayleigh as well.
Yeah, I think Rayleigh has really shown, again, to me, like why it's the counterpunch to the meta. It beats Zoro, and that's really all that needs to be said. I don't know to what degree Zoro's tech cards can win against Rayleigh's sort of high roll ability. Obviously, I think cards like Rashomon and Electric Luna are great in that matchup. But man, when Rayleigh gets going and sees a bunch of those Monkey D. Luffys, it's just so hard to keep up with that pressure. And Zoro deck list can brick out very easily. So kind of interesting there. And then I think in my 4th spot, it would be Teach.
I like Teach in the 4th spot, to be honest. That's what I would change after our initial tier list here, because we put GP Luffy in that spot, right? And I think we were right to put GP Luffy in that spot, because that deck is very good and very well represented in these 5 events here. But moving forward, I think that deck will slowly phase out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were higher on GP than I was.
I was quite a bit higher on GP.
I think just that Rayleigh and Zoro are just like the other top 3 are a bit menacing for GP at the moment.
I agree.
Maybe if decks like UP and Blackbeard start to come out in force, then I could see GP
coming back in.
Yep.
Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we even get there. To be honest, with how robust Rayleigh and Zoro and Bonney are,
I feel like we will get there just because I think the meta is moving a little faster than we thought. I didn't think that Teaches would develop this quickly, but it seems like Teaches are starting to see more and more success here, which then in place also means we're going to see quite a bit more UP.
Yeah, I think UP would take my 5th slot now.
Yeah.
I think for me, those are cemented the top 5 decks.
Yeah. I would agree with that currently.
Yeah, I think UP still, like, people are still crafting the deck list. I've seen a wild deck list. I've seen people play the Doflamingo package, which I think a lot of people sort of naturally move to.
Yeah, it's been played in the past. It's seen success. We know that it works.
Yeah, and we just need decks, like the cards to be filled in, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, we'll just fit in the Rosinante and the Doflamingo. Boom. Those are the 8 cards.
That's 8 cards, exactly. Yeah.
Like that's a good starting point, honestly.
It really
for testing the deck. But I've also seen people go crazy with like the Navy package. I've seen people play the Garps with Aramakis. It's like, 8 cost Katakuri, he's a blocker. Aramaki, a cost blocker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go Sanji, Garp, Aramaki. You probably just win on the spot there.
Yeah, like that is.
But
I don't
it's
really
super
know.
rare. Like I play UP now, and I don't even see my Sanjis.
Yeah.
Like you want to see 3 pieces? I don't even see the 1 card.
Yeah. So I think that one is a little too goofy.
Yeah.
I think that one's a little too crazy. It is awesome when it works. It's very Exodia.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So I think it goes back to the point that I think UP. They're still figuring out the list. I don't think the perfect UP list has been crafted, but I think more and more UP might come back. My only thing with UP is that, again, Rayleigh, Zoro are 2 very, very powerful decks, and I'm not saying that UP necessarily hard loses to them, but they're also not easy matchups.
They're certainly not easy, but they're techable.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about UP is that the deck list is able to be teched. It's pretty lean, but you can tech pretty hard for certain matchups when you want to.
Yeah.
In a green meta, I think, the cards are kind of similar.
It's funny that you call it cool. I would say probably long-term problematic that UP is so flexible.
Yeah. I just don't want to buy new cards, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy new cards.
But yeah, I think UP moving forward, like I think that's going to be one of the reasons why some of these decks just kind of don't come back. Because I thought like Kuzan had a real big chance. I thought Shanks had a real big chance. I think these decks like made sense for them to come back in a Bonney like green heavy meta. Like Shanks just makes sense, right? But then like if UP and Blackbeard are around the corner, like I don't think Shanks will ever get a chance to shine.
Yeah, definitely. I think UP is really good into Shanks. I think Teach is really good into Shanks. So if those 2 decks are going to see more play, I think Shanks will be pushed out. But he still has a good matchup into the green decks, so maybe we'll see a few of them. But
specifically into Bonney.
Yeah, specifically into Bonney.
Like I don't think you are winning into Zoro. So again, these are just things that I've been seeing. So again, people can disagree with me in the comments.
Yeah, but I think we're in agreement here that the top 5 decks are Green Zoro, Bonney, Rayleigh, Teach, and UP.
Yeah, maybe in that order.
Like maybe you can sneak GP into a top 6.
Yeah, I think GP. Again, I think like we talked about before, GP is just a deck that the power level is just so high.
It is.
And the thing is
it
that
can beat anything on this chart right now.
Yeah, like you see the right cards, you win.
Yeah.
Like that's again such a powerful thing about that deck is like the high roll beats everything. So, and then the other thing is like I think GP could be a great pick for something like Nats where you're thinking Yomi levels ahead, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, okay, people are playing a lot of Zoro, Bonney, Rayleigh. I think, Teach and UP come back. Well, guess what? Behind you, it's this astronaut space meme, you know?
Yep.
It's GP. I'm here, motherfucker. Like,
and then behind that is just Bonney again.
Yeah.
Always
comes back.
was.
Yeah, always was. So those decks just seem to be the decks. I think that's really what shapes the meta. And every other deck is a little bit pushed out by one of these 5 to 6 decks.
Yeah, so that's the top 6 for sure. And then a tier below that, you can put Shanks, Kuzan, Saka, and you can probably keep Yellow Kid there. I think we put it maybe a bit high. We didn't quite see it represented all that well, but I think the deck is still good. I think we just didn't see many people play it. And then Enel is probably a tier below that. Like you can still expect to see it at a regional. I just don't think as time progresses, you will see this deck played. You'll see this deck played less and less over time, and certainly have very little representation at Nats, I think.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if someone brought Enel to Nats.
Yeah.
Just feels like not the place to bring a deck like that. I think Enel's as of right now, it stands to be mostly a knowledge / like chump check a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that said, maybe the technology's out there, right? Enel in this aggressive build, like I am very curious about Kid's placement as well. Like obviously, I do think I worry about the matchup into Bonney and Bonney being fairly popular.
So popular.
If Blackbeard and UP come back, those are also not great matchups for a useless Kid. So I I thought Yusa's Kid had a chance because of specifically its matchup into Zoro and Rayleigh. But yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, if those are some of the top 2 decks, right? Zoro and Rayleigh, it still has a spot.
I think I would still leave it at Ken top because I think especially like for this weekend with Toronto and is it Miami? Or no, it's Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
I think in those metas.
Only if you ask me nicely.
Yeah, only. Aw. I think if you have the right bracket and you specifically avoid too many Bonnies, like if you run into 3 Bonnies, okay, so be it.
It's cooked, yeah.
But I think if you have like a really, really heavy Rayleigh Zoro like matchup spread, then I think a Kid player could go quite far.
I think so too. And then we've got the rogue and not meta viable decks. I think that we were pretty right on these for the most part. Like we've seen some rogue tops here and there, right? Like a purple Luffy, a red green smoker, a Lucci. The other decks maybe not so much. I think there was one red green law and top cut here. I haven't seen any purple black Luffy. So maybe purple black Luffy you would move even out of the rogue category.
Maybe just not meta viable.
Yeah, and then Whitebeard maybe you would move also out of the rogue category here, and then put Kalgara into rogue.
Yeah, I think Kalgara. I'm so curious, man.
Yeah.
I really, really want to know what Kalgara. I want to desperately test this deck because it just seems so sick. To me, it brings back the flavor of like what Purple Luffy was more like in the past. So
yeah, and that flavor is umami as hell.
Yeah, it's like you're living on the edge, and you're just like you're
any
just
edgers.
Yeah.
Any edgers
on the brink of death, you're just trying to.
I didn't think you were gonna say death, but yeah,
on the brink of
glory.
Slamming my Gibson.
Oh man, my Gibson.
So I think, I don't know. I'm just really excited about that deck. I really want to try it out. So I don't know. Maybe you'll see me at a local with a Kalgara deck. Let's put it that way.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm playing Old Faithful.
Old Faithful, yeah.
I'm playing Old Faithful.
So I think generally, though, I think as far as the meta goes, I would say we mostly got things right.
I think mostly, yeah.
Meta is moving fast, though.
Faster than I expected.
I think, so one of the reasons why I think it happened was specifically Blackbeard tech was already sort of known prior, right? So people knew about Black Vortex and people knew like kind of what they should be playing around with Zoro. I think the additional thing now is that people are taking out the cards that like were potentially like specifically used against UP. So like I think Blackbeards didn't have to reconstruct too much. I think the tough thing with Blackbeard is always just like knowing how to construct your deck list. And I think decks like Blackbeard where you see so many cards, like every card in the 50 matters so goddamn much, right? Because you are just going to see every card in your deck unless you just die a horrible death. Which sometimes happens. Yeah. Against GP, sometimes you just get blown up and so be it.
Yeah.
But usually there's like a kind of like a period of time in the beginning of metas where Blackbeards just aren't sure, right? Like, should I be attacking in Shiryu for the Rayleigh matchup? Well, is Rayleigh even going to be that popular? Do I want to be playing like more Van Augur than, the Burgess side of the deck? Like, like weighing all these options, like I think we got through that process a little faster because the biggest deck that was kind of standing in Blackbeard's way was Zoro. So I think people were probably just like very prepared for the Zoro matchup, and that's what allowed Teach to do so well, I think.
As they should have been.
Yeah, as they should have been.
Yeah.
And like I think people who were brave enough to just kind of send it with Blackbeard this last weekend got rewarded greatly for it.
Totally. So those are our top 6 decks going into Toronto and going into Kissimmee.
Yeah, Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
So unfortunately, we won't be at Kissimmee, but I will be going to Toronto. So if you guys end up going to Toronto, say hi.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I won't be X3 dropping. Last time
come
I
back
went
with
to,
a cereal.
Yeah, last time I went to Toronto, oh man, I just had the wrong deck list.
Yeah,
it was so
unlucky.
unfortunate.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
So you're going to Toronto this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Is like time the same everywhere, you think?
What does that even mean?
Like, so 60 seconds is a minute here, right?
Yeah.
You think 60 seconds is a minute in Toronto?
I mean, depends on how like science you want to get into it.
So like, is 60 seconds in Jamaica the same 60 seconds here? 60 seconds in New York?
Technically, it's all about
60 minutes?
perspective.
Right? You know what I mean?
It's all
Like,
about perspective, man.
and I think it's different.
Also, technically, if I was running, my time is a little slower. Yeah,
It's slower. So
because the closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time gets.
yeah.
So right now, my 60 is really.
I'm not aging. I'm not aging. That's a new commercial for anti-aging technology. It's just like I'm
just
vibrating
wiggle around. Yeah, I'm closer to the speed of light. You know what's funny is Loki. It might just do it anyways because you're like just more active.
You're also burning like omega calories by just doing that. But your spine is probably just in
Broken.
pieces.
Yeah. Well, okay, what brought that up?
Oh, I don't know. I just like, I don't know, because time is what do people
Variable?
say? A construct or whatever. Is that the right word?
I don't think so. Who's constructing it?
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like when I'm in New York, time is so much quicker. They're 3 hours ahead, no? The 60 seconds is a little different.
Oh, you know what's funny though is that because Toronto is so far north compared to where we are,
Yeah.
Even though the 3 hours shifted,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it shifts at all.
Yeah.
Because their sunset feels like 3 hours later than
right?
it should be.
Like
yeah.
it just like time is different, no? Like every time you travel,
Bro, I need to know where you find your weed.
no free advertisements.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah.
But you're like every time you come back from like Toronto, from Florida, from Vegas, you just come back from different places. I'm like, there's something different about this guy. I feel like the time is different.
I'm $30 poorer from Vegas this time.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So what's that chemistry thing where you convert like different metrics? You know what I'm
sure,
talking about?
yeah,
What
units.
what is it called? Just stoichiometry?
Is there a term for that?
Let me know in the comments. Am I right?
I might be stupid, dude. I have an engineering degree and I don't know.
I don't even have a real degree. Stoichiometry. I'm like pretty sure that's what it is. It's
okay.
like converting the units into other stuff.
Okay.
So let's convert seconds
Okay,
into
LA
dollars.
seconds.
LA seconds into
to
dollars.
into Canadian
Canadian
dollars into Toronto time.
Yeah, CAD into Toronto to TT.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of conversion.
Yeah. I think it's different.
It might be. Yeah. Based off the US dollar strength right now.
I think it's different.
I think Canadian time a little cheap. Little cheap. Yeah.
It's got like maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that because it's cheap, that means there's more of Canadian time. So it moves faster there. There's just more time in Canada.
I think it's faster.
Yeah.
I think Canadian time is faster.
I think we got.
Yeah.
They're just vibrating. Damn. People listen to this.
Yeah, that's great. That's crazy that you guys are still here.
Appreciate you guys. No, seriously, thank you guys so much. Okay, before we send off though, if you were to go to Toronto, what's the deck you would bring? I know the answer to this. He's showboating right now. Like he's thinking like he has a thought there, but it's completely dead silent up in between his ears right now.
Blue purple Luffy.
Yeah.
I am a really big believer in blue purple Luffy. I think this deck is super good. I think a stock list may not do well into Rayleigh, may not do well into Bonney, may not do well into Green Zoro, and may not do well into GP. So you're looking at this deck and you're like, oh, dude, it is unplayable. It loses to 4 of the top 6 decks. How can you even play this deck? But I think you can build it in a way where it is actually favored or even into every single deck that will be represented.
Yeah, I just think it is so powerful to be able to stick 2 9Ks on the board, and then you don't have to play a single character after that. You just sit
turtle.
there. Yeah, you just sit there going 699, 699, 699, hold 10 Dawn up. Oh, you swung 14 3 billion times? Well, here's Bagua, Gear 2,
Yep.
Gum Giant,
Yep.
2K, 1K.
Yep.
What you got for me?
Yep.
Oh, next turn, play Nami, draw more cards. more
Bagua,
events.
Bagua.
Bagua. Like, you can counter for like 30K in a single turn.
Oh, there was a game I played at a local, and there was a game where a guy swung. So it was over the course of 2 turns. It was like a red Zoro, I think. He went 15 lead, countered out. 15 lead, countered out. 15 lead, countered out.
I think that will happen a lot against Rayleighs.
I think my hand was just like, I had like 30K of counters in my hand.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like, they're taking 699, 699, 699, like,
you're gonna die.
You are going to die.
You're going to die.
Yeah, I think the modern Zoro versus blue purple matchup is very funny because they swing freaking hard, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really just block auto things. Kind of in general, blockers feel kind of not great right now.
Right now, especially.
And so they're just swinging super, super hard at you, and you're just going back and forth. It's Sylvester Stallone versus Rocky. You know, there's no defense whatsoever. You're just haymaker to the face, haymaker to the face. They're just countering out everything they can against your like 6 and 8 pokes, and then you're just countering their 12K attacks over and over again.
What's the like Korean boxer, like Korean zombie?
Oh yeah.
You're
From
just
Pride fighting.
You're just punching and punching.
You can't
no
knock me
regard
out.
for life.
Bagua.
Yeah. He's just alive forever. Like, my God.
It's very funny because I think that's like the modern game plan for UP, and Loki, I think it's still good.
Sick.
So,
It's sick. So don't sleep on UP. I think UP is very, very good.
Or do, because that way I get to abuse it. And
actually, UP sucks.
Yeah, keep it.
UP sucks. It's really bad. UP
loses
bad.
to the top 4 decks or whatever you said. Yeah,
Shanks is bad. Shanks is good. Shanks is very good. Shanks is super good.
Yeah, people should play Shanks.
People should play Shanks. People should play Enel.
People should play Sakazuki.
People should play. Yep, those are what they should play. There's no more. There was no more decks. I looked at the bottom of the list. I was like, oh, these are all losing matchups.
Don't put them on Red Green Smoker.
Yeah. Do not put them on Red Green Smoker. I was like, not meta viable were Bello, Betty, and Buggy. I was
don't
like,
play those,
don't play those decks. Don't play those.
But anyways, that's kind of our wrap up. I mean, we have so many more tournaments coming up. So probably after this next week, we have the Toronto Kissimmee. I don't know if there's anything else that's also on the horizon, but we definitely want to do another revisit to the meta when it comes to Nats. So we'll do another episode for Nats. And then next episode, though, we're going to have a guest on. I hope you guys are looking forward to that.
Yeah,
so,
look forward to him.
Anyways, that is it for this podcast. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys in Toronto. Bye.
See you where the time is slower.